My name is Rick Rhodes, and I'm a compounding pharmacist at University Compounding Pharmacy. We're in Southern California. Also the founder of a skincare line called BioRenew Skincare. And I'm going to talk to you today about menopause and the skin. And really what I hope this presentation will do is be a practical presentation, something that you can use in your practice, something that will benefit not only your patients but also benefit your practice. And part of this, really the emphasis on this, is linking two separate concepts. We hear a lot about aging and skin aging and photo aging, extrinsic aging, and then also menopause. And what my contention is that they're actually linked, that menopause, that signs of menopause are actually found on the skin. So for the objectives, identify the physiological and functional changes in postmenopausal skin, explain the exacerbation of both intrinsic and extrinsic aging by declining hormones, discuss the role of topical estrogens in reverse.
Injecting into joints, all that sort of thing. There's a lot of questions here. These are the basic things that we're going to be talking about. And by the way, if any of you want a copy of the slideshow when I'm done to sort of take your time reading it, I'll be happy to email you a PDF of it all. But basically we're going to go into the realm of wound healing and how our bodies heal, and what we've learned about how that can have benefit in the anti-aging sphere. Just as a preface, I started developing a product with my team 3 years ago, well, actually longer than about 4 years ago. We wanted to create the world's best anti-aging facial system. So what is a cytokine? Cytokine is a real simple definition. It's one of the ways that cells communicate. Now, cells can communicate with positive feedback loops. That's autocrine signaling, where a cell will secrete a cytokine, a receptor will respond, it'll secrete more of the same receptor cytokine. The second type of cell communication would be synaptic, where a nerve's telling a muscle to contract or a nerve's telling another nerve cell to fight.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Today it's my pleasure to talk about the trends and science behind using vitamins and supplements for healthy, youthful skin. We're going to look at the clinical evidence. Louder? Sorry. Okay, how is that? Is that good? Okay, we're going to look at the clinical evidence, and by that I mean the double-blind, placebo-controlled studies in the literature to support the manufacturers' and retailers' claims that vitamins do in fact reverse the skin signs of photoaging and time. And with an aging population's unquenchable yearning to look younger, especially in California, where I live, and a growing desire for everything natural and organic, it does make sense for practitioners, manufacturers, and retailers to fully embrace this trend. Now, let's start at the beginning and talk about the skin. The skin is the largest and most visible organ in the body, so it's a great indicator of general health as well as organ health. Your skin is actually the fingerprint of what's going on inside your body. And all skin conditions, from acne to psoriasis to aging, are the manifestations of your body's internal needs, including...
The title of the talk also included prostate. And so if you're interested in prostate, I'd be happy to visit with you later on that. So here we are, just down the street from the happiest place on earth, and this allows us to recapture our youthful experience, and this is what Cosmeceuticals really is about. And so here's an overview. We'll just define Cosmeceuticals and look at a snapshot of the market shares, the A4M and the CAM patient characteristics, the FDA and the FTC regulations on any types of claims, and then how to identify premium products. Just a real brief review, and I'll blow through that on skin aging characteristics, and then introduction to botanicals that represent a vast majority of cosmeceuticals. So what are cosmeceuticals? Back in 1984, Dr. Albert Klingman coined this term, cosmeceuticals.
How many of you are currently practicing aesthetics in your offices? So the majority of you. Well, I have had the pleasure of conducting the Aesthetic Fellowship now for a number of years, and I see some familiar faces, and I have really enjoyed that role. But I'm first and foremost an anti-aging physician. I have been for 20 years, and I more and more, as we progress through regenerative therapies, stem cell therapies, and we are integrating these things. And so I have decided, after all these years of doing lasers and fillers and Botox, that as a very basic role, we should first create healthy skin. And if you have a healthy patient and healthy skin, they're going to have beautiful skin. And so I also balance my patients metabolically, and in that fashion, we're able to mitigate many of the problems that are reflected on the skin surface rather than just treating topically. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't do our laser procedures, chemical peels. We don't use the cosmeceutical products, but I think that it is necessary to also address the nutritional aspects that do affect skin health. So I have become very interested in omega-3s more recently because I understand them better. And I would like to share that information with you because I think that there are a lot of omega-3 products available. And I found that for 20 years of practicing anti-aging, I knew that recommending an omega-3 was one of the more important things that I could do, and I understood the reasons why. But I don't think that I had expert knowledge about how to distinguish between the products. And so first let's look at the role in skin, and then what I'd like to do is share with you the different criteria for selecting an omega-3 product that would help you as it has helped me in treating my patients. So I know you're at an anti-aging conference, so I'm going to assume it's 100%, but how many people are currently recommending omega-3 products for their patients? Okay, this is a different thought and some actual, I'll present a little bit of research at the end that I've been involved with that is really interesting to me because, yes, probiotics are helpful, but there are some challenges with finding the right probiotic. And so we have made some advancements in what we think are some really exciting newer products. And so let's go through this. Acne vulgaris, it's a chronic inflammatory disease of the pilosebaceous glands and follicles, and it's characterized by comedones, papules, pustules, nodules, and scarring. There's a whole spectrum of presentation from mild to severe. And those of us with aesthetic practices really should be adept at treating this. To date, we have topicals, we have some laser treatments, and then we have also our chemical peels, photodynamic therapy, different things that we utilize along with our hormone balancing and hopefully nutritional counseling. But this is sort of a relatively different thought and one that I have found very helpful. 60 million Americans have active acne. 80% of adult acne cases occur in women because we get a relative elevated testosterone as we...
It is hard to find one like this, and I feel the same. I always was interested in art and science, painting and figure sculptures. I was interested in how the skin appears for painters and how it changes in sculptures. And one of the paintings that I did was in the White House for 3 years. And you'll see it shortly. I also wrote the books that you see here at the bottom. This is the painting that I chose to do at a time when Rabin and Arafat met in the White House. What drew my attention was the skin. And I did it like the old masters. I did green, light green, dark green, and I put skin colors on top of this. And I was delighted when it was pleasing to my eye, and later on it was hanging outside the Oval Office for 3 years. When I think of skin, it's actually simple as doing this. I'm taking a little bit red. I'm doing yellow. I'm doing white. And I'm doing green. And if you look, see if I do on the yellow, a little bit on the red into it, it starts looking more like skin. I will add a little bit green to it. And well, it's a little bit dark, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow into it. But maybe if I add a little bit red, maybe it'll be too much red, but I can change it. In painting, it's easy to do skin colors. It's easy as adding a little bit white, and we have it, and it's got to be pleasing to your eye. That's when I do the painting. But when we have patients, it's not as easy.
We're going to be talking about clinical sign of aging, skin facial wrinkles, aesthetic role, and equal isomers for aging skin. We have the pleasure to have Dr. Edwin Leppard. I hope I said it right. I did? All right. Dr. Leppard has completed his PhD from the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas. He is a professor and associate chairman of the Department of Physiology and Development, oh my God, my French here, it's mixed, biology of professor of neuroscience at the Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. He has published more than 80 papers. We have heard that. 80 papers and 10 books chapters, and 120 scientific abstract and study on health benefits of polyphenolic molecule in aging. Let's all welcome Dr. Edward Leppard.
And so here's an overview. I'll go through this quickly so we stay on time, and we'll talk about the skin just briefly. Just a really quick review and talk about those mechanoreceptors that you studied a long time ago. But most of this talk in the first half, oh, thank you very much. This one's mine. You can borrow. Oh, okay. Wow, that's a great pointer. Most of the time we're going to talk in the first half about skin anti-aging and really emphasize collagen, elastin, and those MMPs, those matrix metalloproteases that break down elastin and collagen. Really emphasize extrinsic or photoaging and the mechanisms that occur in the exposure to the sun. Just a really short review on UVC, UVB, and UVA, and then talk about chronological or intrinsic aging and how that relates to photoaging. The loss of elasticity is incredibly important. I'll show you a couple slides in that regard, and then we'll look at some twin studies where twins were under similar environments and look at facial aging, and then we'll talk about temporary lines that become permanent lines over time. And we'll do a little experiment and have you participate. That'd be great. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And then we'll talk about hormones in aging, especially the sex steroid hormones, the receptors, and the enzymes that are in the fibroblasts and how they affect the keratinocytes and general skin health. And then I'll end up with talking about equol. And there's two isomers, so they have enantiomeric forms, and so it's like a right glove and a left glove. And we've done 50% of each isomer before, but now we wanted to see which one had the most efficacy. So here's a really quick slide and review on the skin. Covers the largest area of the body. Here's our little cartoon showing the stratum corneum. the epidermis and the dermis, and then we got all of those mechanoreceptors. We got the Merkel's disc and Purkinje's corpuscle down here, and all of these things that will help us sense the environment. Has a very good role in regulating temperature, especially in the wintertime where we can decrease skin blood flow to just 1% and provides a great protection by the stratum corneum from the outside world. So here's a brief review on collagen and aging. Menopause has a great impact on collagen. The average age of menopause in the United States is 51 years. There's a